Good evening to one and all. A warm welcome to 48th International Workshop on Quantitative Research through Experimental Research Design. Golden Jubilee Year of NEHU, May 2022 to May 2023 International Workshop Series, a series of 100 programs every Friday 5 to 7 p.m. Research and Publication for Happiness and Development, jointly organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong, Meghalaya, and Indian Society for Training and Development ISTD, Shillong Chapter, Meghalaya, in collaboration with Department of Philosophy and IQAC, Moran College, affiliated to Dibrugarh University, MORANHAT, ASSAM, and Department of Philosophy, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. A warm welcome to today's keynote speaker, my own guru and collaborator, Professor P. Chennaiya sir, Professor Prabhasankar Shukla sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong, Professor Raja Reddy sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Venkateswara University, Professor Mithali Kaur ma'am, Principal Moran College, Dr. Rajendra Prasad Bhattakur sir, IQAC Coordinator, Moran College, and Dr. Sutasini Gugoi Madam, Head Department of Philosophy and Workshop Coordinator, Moran College, Professor B.S. Mipun sir, Chairman ISTD, Professor A.S. Dikshit sir, Director IQAC NEHU, Dr. Nagarajasri Madam, Dr. Vijay Bhaskar sir from SVU Computer Center. A warm welcome to all the participants. Through experimental research design, in the previous program we did on pre-experimental research design. Next week we are going to do on quasi-experimental research design. Actually, knowingly or unknowingly, we are doing this type of experiments in our daily life, personal life, and professional life. Just take example of kitchen. Whenever mother is going to prepare some new dishes, so want to make some experiment, simply what past previous knowledge and past experience. How many people are there? How much quantity we need? This is also a small type of experimental research, true experimental. What they will do, already I prepared like this. Now if I prepare like this, because of adding these ingredients, the taste are yummy. So this is one type of experiment in the kitchen. In the same way, kids are also their behavior. If sometimes kids they demand, if I want to do this one, you supposed to give biscuit or chocolate or something. So you see, because this is also a manipulation, or it's a small type of interventions. So a student is doing a good job on his studies, his or her studies. If you get pass mark, I can give a bicycle. So this is also an intervention to get more marks and achievements. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are doing all these things in our daily life. But in a research, suppose someone they have good attitude or intelligence or heredity or environment, so creativity. If a student do have creativity or ICT integrated teaching, two groups. The classroom can be divided into two groups, one group with integration of ICT, another group without integration of ICT. So there is a post pre-test. I'm going to present all these three types of research design within true experimental research design. Wonderful videos are also I collected. Before that, Professor Chennai sir going to deliver keynote address on true experimental research design, philosophical, what type of my truth is life, life is truth, or truth is God, God is truth. Professor Chennai sir mentioned so many things about on the occasion of 2nd October, Gandhi Jayanti, International Non-Violence Day. So today also Professor Chennai are going to uncover the covered things and untold stories, what type of experiments you can do for your happy and healthy life. With this, a warm welcome to all the participants, including keynote speaker and Dr. Sutasini Gugoi Madam. We can start our program as usual. Vande Mataram.
Vande शीतला सस्यश्यामला मातरम् शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी पुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदलशोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधा मातरम् वन्दे मातरम्.
Chennai sir to deliver keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Respectable coordinator, Dr. Amresh sir, who is the designer for the program, who is organizing this program with an excellent manner, and all the participants of this program. Research and search are two wheels for human development. So here, in the world of science and technology, we are doing research in the external world. In the world of religion, in the world of consciousness, in the world of enlightenment, we are doing research on inner world. We find similarities between the research in the scientific world and the research in the religious world or the world of the inner consciousness. So here in the science, we experiment, we won't give any importance for opinion or prejudice or bias or anything. We go with a factual manner, with an experimental outlook, with so much of clarity. In the same manner, we find the same type of research methodology in the inner world also. If I go inner world with the meditation, we may watch things exactly what they are without saying yes or no, positive or negative. If we go deeply without having any prejudice, we may know about your inner divinity. So here in the internal world and the external world, we are doing research and search for the development of human existence. So here in this connection, today I am going to share something research points relating with the great philosopher, the 16th President of America, Abraham Lincoln. He is a great statesman, great president, great humanist, a great freedom fighter, a great philosophical outlook person. He born in February 12th, 1809. He lived up to 15th April 1865. So he is the only the person who got assassination in the life of presidents of America. So he is a revolutionary person. He has a great philosophy. He is telling freedom is the birthright of every human being. If you have no freedom, you are not an individual. If you are talking about freedom means you have no right to continue your own freedom. Freedom is essential for physical growth, for mental growth, for living as a human being. So during his tenure in 1861 to 65, in those times, in the United States of America, human rights violation was there. Slavery was there. So people used to purchase people for slavery. They have to continue their slavery. They have no right. They have no freedom. So many people have come from foreign countries. So the local people may purchase as a slaves. They may enter some duties. They may continue. So the persons who are experiencing the slavery, they start revolting against the existing condition. They tried to get more freedom. During the period, Abraham Lincoln was the President of America. He is a great person. He knows poverty, unemployment, human dignity, human life, thought, many things. He is a so great person. So he tried to prohibit slavery in United States of America. So he has given agreements to prohibit. He prohibited slavery. He said, in the human being life, we have to give more rights, more freedom. Slavery is inhuman. If you are living slavery means you have no right, you have no fulfillment in our life. That's why have your rights. Do your life with the fulfillment. We have to create more freedom. That is our purpose. So here Abraham Lincoln said, whatever you are, be a good one. You may be a president of America, or an ordinary person, or a governor, or a statesman, or a family person, or a teacher, or a architect, whoever you may be. Wherever you are, whatever you are, be good in our position. So he's telling, when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. This is my religion. So here in the world, we have various types of religions, but the great wonderful philosopher and the president of 16th president of America, great person Abraham Lincoln said, if I do good thing, I may get happiness. If I do bad thing, I may get happiness. This is a very closely relating with the law of action. So here law of action is the governing principle in the universe. It is not only relating with the human species, but all the things. So if you do good things, you get the good results. If you do bad things, you may get bad results. So here action is the vital part in every part of human existence. That's why he enjoyed with doing good things. He refused bad things. He is the outlook. So here, those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. So here in America, in this people to give freedom for slaves. So we have purchased, they are comfortable, we are using people, they are giving more comfort to us. But you as a president of 16th president of America, Abraham Lincoln, you are telling that. So the color is most important. Red or black or yellow or green. This is a creation of nature. If you give importance for color, that is a inhuman. If you violate rights on the basis of color, it is not good. So as for my consciousness, the colors, the appearances of human beings are result of various types of genes and the ancestors and the present condition of geographical source. So here I want to give any consideration for black or white. So human beings are same. Human consciousness is same. I respect the rights of the human beings. I give most important for the dignity of human existence. That's why some people are objecting freedom. So those who are objecting freedom, they are not entitled to enjoy freedom because we have to give equal importance for our fellow human beings. If you reject the rights of our fellow human beings, that is a violation, that is a inhuman, that is a catastrophe, that is a violence. Abraham Lincoln says, character is like a tree, and reputation it's a shadow. The shadow is what we think it is, and the tree is the real thing. So here in the life, he is telling character. Character means good talk, good thoughts, good behavior, good expressions, good moods, doing always good for others. If you have a good character, you may get automatically good results from others people. You may enjoy life. But here, a reputation. If you think about yourself that you may be great, wonderful, something, that is your imagination, that is your thought, that is called reputation. Some people may say about some people, that may be expression, that may be a reputation. We may see reputation in the newspapers, in the public talks, in some other people ideas, but that is a shadow. If shadow disappears, the reality is tree. In the same manner, if you have a good character, sometimes you may get images relating with your character and something. They may disappear just like a shadows disappear through sun rays. So here character is the most important. You have to understand reality. Reality is the most important thing in the human existence. So if you think that this is a good thing, this is a better thing, this is useful for human existence, don't bother about anything. Follow your inner consciousness. Be brave, be courageous, be intelligent, be sincere. Don't bother about other ideas. If you are sincere about your existence, if you are very answerable to your inner consciousness, don't bother about the ideas of other people. So here, the human behavior is the same. We may create changes from negative to positive through our love and affection. Love and affection are most important at the human existence. So he said very nice things about life also. Leave nothing for tomorrow, which can be done today. So he is telling, live moment to moment. As a president of America, you see the philosophy of the 16th president of America, Abraham Lincoln. So a administrator, a minister, a top policy maker, if he had the idea that doing our life moment to moment without any postponement, acting at present, we don't find any accumulation of files, we don't find any negative impacts. That is a fire type of administration. A person who has no desire, ambition, greed, attachment, ownership, a person who has no jealousy on somebody, they may be a pure. A pure person can do anything without having any postponement. Doing moment to moment is the most important thing for our survival. If you postpone anything for tomorrow, the postpone will go with accumulation. That is a very dangerous. If you start accumulating many things for tomorrow, so that is nothing but delaying things, postponing things. So he's telling, don't bother about your past and the future. This present is the most important. Don't postpone anything for tomorrow. If you find any file or any work, do at present. At present is the most important thing in the life. So here Abraham Lincoln is saying every man's happiness is his own responsibility. So he's telling you have a right to live here in the world with happiness. If you are avoiding happiness means you are not responsible for your life. Be happy for your life. So for that, do good things, have a fresh mind, help others, share good things. So live here in the world. Happiness is your right. Happiness, accumulation or attainment of happiness is your responsibility. If you miss your responsibility, you won't get any happiness in the life. That's why that is the most important thing in the life. So here, giving freedom to slaves, some people are telling that that is not good. But we are thinking slavery is a bondage. Slavery is a violation of rights. If you are creating slavery on the basis of color, on the basis of nationality, that means you are violating the rights of the human consciousness. That's why Abraham Lincoln has taken extraordinary step to avoid, to prohibit slavery, purchase of human beings as slaves, using human beings as slaves, using the resources of human beings slaves resources. So exploiting people's energies on the basis of racism, color, so various types of defective things. So he avoided. So during the period, he finalized, he prohibited slavery. During the period, he served only 4 years in the first term in 1861 to 65. At the end of the term, when he was in the cinema hall, one person fired with a gun. So they assassinated Abraham Lincoln because they told that he is a freedom fighter. He has given freedom to the slaves. He has created changes in the America. He is a humanistic person, but we don't like that type of things. We want slavery. We want people's exploitation. They said, but that is the ending thing. But he is a very global person. He said. So here he has given most importance. So he said that I should not be a slave in the world. I should not be a master in the world. That means I have a great respect on the democracy. He has given great definition also on democracy for the world. He said, government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. So here democracy of the people, by the people, for the people. So here he said, don't be a slave, don't be a master, be free. Here it is a life, here we have a freedom. You have to live here in the comfortable manner. So he contributed a lot for human upliftment, human freedom, human enjoyment. So he has said many things. So here he has given some important thing that sometimes if we find any bad laws, if you implement bad laws, we may see reactions from the society. He said, without a public sentiment, nothing can succeed in the society. So he said, we have seen in the society, so in the human body, if you have a health for all parts, you may live comfortably, but your hand is not your left hand is not good, your left leg is not good, and you won't get more happiness. So here in the country also, in the society also, here we find various types of divisions, titles in the form of religion or a rationality or a racism or something. They are not concerned. We are a human family. So if you give love in the society, we may get love. Love is the most important thing. Otherwise, we may face so many hostilities, problems. So human being is a emotional human being. He is not a mechanical human being. He is not a stone. He has the emotions. He has the positive emotions and the negative emotions. That's why you have to give positive emotions like love, affection, kindness, honor, respect, and many good things. If you give without having any self-interest, good feelings to human beings, you may live comfortable manner. So he said one beautiful expression that avoid popularity if you would have a peace. So here, so if you try for publicity, if you fight for greatness, glory, or a fame, or great things, you may become very popular, very great person. Many people will come. You won't get more freedom, so you won't live peacefully. That's why he's telling, don't expect anything. If you want to do anything, do with a silent manner. Your action gives more importance in the human life. Do always good things. Don't get any popularity. Don't get any great images. The great images may create disturbance to you. That's why live very happily. He said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So in a society or a country, if you find more divisions, distractions, unhappiness, racism, intolerance, division, conflict in the basis of a color, so in those days on the basis of the human being skin color, black or white, or on the basis of color, on the basis of the shape of the human being, so they started slavery, and he prohibited, he refused the way of life for increasing slavery. So he avoided the conditions of slaves. He has provided freedom. He said human beings are there, are equal, so they may be different in the black or yellow or green. Don't consider any color. Give respect. Live comfortable manner. So these things Abraham Lincoln has given with an extent manner. So here he said the ballot is stronger than the bullet. So he has given most important for democracy. You have to follow the ideas of people. If people are not happy about your administration, they may remove your administration in the future. That's why you have to follow the rights of the people, their feelings, their necessities, their wants. We have to protect safety and security. So follow the movements of the people, respect people. So give more protection and energy for downtrodden people, those who are facing apartheid or a racial egoism or a racism or a slavery or anything. Avoid all social evils. Treat human beings as the equal person. Then we live very comfortable manner in the world. So I concluded this speech, Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I am requesting the participants to interact with Professor Chennai, sir. Over to the participants. Sir, I think our participants will take some time. Sir, why in India, so Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation, murdered, and so many countries, not only in India, even Abraham Lincoln also, because these people are great souls. They have a strong willpower to change the society through their activities. Why it happened to this type of great souls, sir?
So actually, in the human being, we have a soul. The quality of soul is awareness, alertness. If you follow the hints and guidelines of your soul, it may reveal about your future dangers, future life, everything in the form of hints of intuition. So intuition means extraordinary perception. So those who follow the guidelines of intuition, they escaped from the dangers. Those who have not followed, those who have not listened their inner voice, they have experienced bad consequences in the world. So here, Mahatma Gandhi, a person of non-violence, has not taken any security. So here, the great mystics are telling, so here, whoever you may be, don't forget about your soul guidance. So here in the Vedas, one great expression is there in the Vedic literature. If you follow, if you depend on your soul, if you trust your soul, in the stages of danger, in the stages of assassination, in the stages of murder, in the stages of danger, the soul will give a hint to you. It may protect you. It may arrange some safety methods to protect your life. That's why those who followed, those who have trusted the soul language, they have escaped. So here I am not finding fault with anything. So here we have two types of security. One security is from the hints of the soul. Another security is from government side. If we find any security lapses, then there may be a danger. So here, so a integrated person need more safety relating with the external world and the internal world. So it has happened, but Mahatma Gandhi has done good things. Abraham Lincoln also done, but those great people have experienced the same type of things, but it has happened. But here our concern is their noble philosophy. They are fighters for human dignity, human being love. So here in India, Mahatma Gandhi fought for Indian freedom, freedom from colonial administration. So here, maybe 100 years back, more than maybe 150 years back, in 1861 to 65, Abraham Lincoln in USA, he has seen the great dangerous slavery. So people come from different countries. Some people purchase people, they treat as a slaves. So he fought against and he created freedom. So here the noble persons have the same type of outlook. So in this connection, we may appreciate the great contribution of Mahatma Gandhi and Abraham Lincoln. So here Gandhi has fought for freedom. There also he fought for freedom from slavery. So both the people are great people. So here we have to follow their philosophies to live comfortable manner. Amreswar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So, any other participants? Upesh Debarma sir from Tripura.
So here in the Abraham Lincoln's philosophy,
Deeplata Gupta, madam.
we have
Sir, Deeplata
Amresh,
Gupta
sir.
ji from Lucknow, she has some.
Yes, please welcome. Welcome. Deepal Gupta ji, please share something, ask some question or say something.
Maybe madam network is not good, sir.
So she's posting any
Sir,
written
madam, you
expression.
can post if you have network issue. You can post.
Or again try for okay.
Upesh Debarma ji.
So Srinivasa Reddy garu
Is available, sir. Srinivasa Reddy na?
okay, okay. So
Sir,
Venkatrao
I
garu is
have
also
one more, sir. Few days back,
okay.
I read article. The present US president going to hand over some weapons to Ukraine. So, is it the right way, sir, to encourage them to fight instead of encourage them to go for dialogue method?
So you see, in 1901 to 1908, Theodore Roosevelt worked as a president of America. During the time in 1901 to 1907, during the period, there was a war between Russia and Japan. So he has started negotiations with Russia and Japan. He settled the issue. He created great peace. On the basis of that work, so he got Nobel Peace Prize. So here, here our concern is not the country or the America or the Russia or Putin or Biden, but they are playing their roles on the basis of their political compulsions and everything. We respect their attitude and actions, but here our concern is human beings are missing. Entire human consciousness is one. So here the great mystics and philosophers are telling that if you are destroying other human beings means why you are destroying, why you are creating violence, why you are killing human beings means you are not thinking that all human beings are connected with the cosmos, universe, world. So anyway, the nature, the human beings, all are connected with the one family. You have no psychological unity. You are not thinking that they are yours. That's why you are doing. But here in the world, if you find integrated persons, a persons who have a love and affection, there we find the peace and everything. So you see, Abraham Lincoln, so he prohibited slavery. Roosevelt, so he compromised people, Russia and Japan. He created peace. So sometimes on the basis of the minds of people, that's why the great philosophers telling the policymakers have to do watching techniques relating with the mind. If they are aware of their thought process continuously, they may get more peace and tranquility in their mind. On the basis of that, they may start negotiating for peaceful settlements. If they have no awareness outlooks relating with mind, they may continue violence, conflict, disorder in their minds. On the basis of that, they may encourage wars and everything. That's why we expect now, so they have to understand the holistic understanding, they have to create peace and everything. So here we have a great human laws, nature laws. So if you kill somebody, somebody may kill us. So here violence leads to violence, love leads to love. So if you do something, you may get a reaction on the basis of that. So here we find action and reaction. That's why we may expect a great mind change in the minds of policy makers of the world. On the basis of that, they may do something, and they may not supply weapons or anything. They may spread love and fragrance for the world. We may live comfortable manner. Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Deepalata Gupta madam, she posted application of democracy in education.
So here Abraham Lincoln said he has a democracy, a government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. So here democracy means here in the education. So in our country we have an education system. So here in the democracy, the role of democracy means here the ultimate power relied on the people. So our constitution also said we people of India. In the same manner, the policy makers of the country, if they think, so we are nothing but the result of the votes of the people. So they may give importance for the democracy. For example, we have a 73 and 74 Indian Constitution amendments. So 73, 74, so they have given funds, duties and powers for local bodies, for Grama Panchayat, for villages, cantonment boards, municipalities, corporations in the rural and urban areas. So if the states will implement on the basis of funds received by central government, they may function very effectively, because some schools and colleges, some educational institutions also governed by the local bodies. So here all laws are created by legislature on the basis of the opinion of the people. If they start implementing ideas relating with the education, they may provide good funds for teacher education, for post, for they may increase the funds for education because education is a fuel for growth of the people. So if they start thinking that the ideas of rights of people are most important, they may do. So here, so the parliament and the executive, legislature, judiciary, so all the policy makers have to understand the rights of the people. If they start implementing the laws already enacted by the parliament and state legislatures, we may find more democracy. So, so the policy makers have to do enactment and the implementation of laws for the welfare of the people on the basis of democratic principles. Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any other?
Hello, namaste, sir.
Pavan sir, please, sir.
Namaste,
Pavan
sir.
Kumar
Jai,
asked
sir.
you asked direct question for answering very effectively.
Okay, sir. Sir, nowadays that world is world. That world to that so many frauds is there. Nowadays, we are all are know everything. Our worldwide, every man's. That how can removing normative scientific way? What are the researching applications? Every man is happy. Every man has a heaven. How to a foundation of creating a heaven living life. What are the researching action researching principles to tell me, sir, immediately tomorrow?
So here, okay, very clear question. So here,
No, sir, like wind, sun, how can functioning normative scientific way? That limitation is there. That type of what type of economic reforms and education reforms? Tell me, sir, that clearly. These two things are suffering. That our India, every man, that worldwide, that English language is not perfectly. That English is national international language. That what reforms to do our India. Our India is a great country, great world nation top country. These two things are suffering our India. What type of researching, implementations and action reforms? Tomorrow we have changed that. Heaven living life. That normative scientific way.
see, actually, the happiness, the great philosophies, great things are telling. If you are expecting more, you won't get happiness. If you have a ability that if you feel contented or a small things, you may get more happiness. So happiness comes from contentment, simplicity that we get. So here in the political, educational, and the social development, we have a sufficient sources. So here we have a English language international. So all languages of the world relating with the human beings, we have to learn many things. So we have to welcome. So here in the policy makers of the country, if they start implementing anything with the honest manner, with selflessness, share with the nice things, with the love and affection, we may give some share for the development. So here, the inner understanding and the outer understanding, living with a simplistic manner is a great source for happy living. So if you expect more, so here one expression is there, peace begins when expectation ends. When you are not expecting more, when you are contented with the small things, you may get more pleasure and happiness. For that, we need inner understanding. That is the most important. Otherwise, if you depend on more on external world for happiness, you won't get any happiness. That's why understanding of external world and internal world are most important to solve our problems. Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Pavan sir,
Hello, sir.
is it okay?
Sir, that what is reforms, sir? That economic and education reforms. These are no like functioning wind and sun.
So are you listening, Pawan Kumar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, sir. I am listening, sir. Hello.
Are you listening?
Okay, sir. I am listening. Sir.
Okay, Amresh sir.
I am listening.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay, Amresh sir,
Sir.
you ask somebody.
Any other? Venkatrao sir? Professor Venkatrao sir?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome, Venkatrao garu, please.
You are quoted Abraham Lincoln, is the symbol of democracy, symbol
Yes.
of equality, symbol of
Yes.
universal
Yes.
state.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, the person you quoted for the particular time, there is a lot of international organizations are established at the time of Abraham Lincoln. World peace is, they are expecting a lot of peace in the world.
Yes.
But
Yes.
now in the world is in the economic war, not in a political war.
Yes.
It is a economic
Yes.
war is going on in the world. The people lost their lives from the last 6 months in the world.
Yes.
In the course of time, the people, the humanitarian people are worried about the lives of these people of the world. Today, they are suffer. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, other people are also maybe facing the same problem.
Yes.
So, what is the solution for this? No international organization is come forward to solve this problem or to discuss this problem. This is very pathetic situation in the world. We are too much worried about, as a philosophers, we too much worried about the people of this country. So this time, in this regard, we need to discuss about more about this international peace.
Yes. Yes.
That is
So
my
here, yes. So here, in this connection, we have to remember that. So in the UNESCO preamble, we have the world wars are coming from the states of human being mind. We have to change in the minds. In the same manner, we have to spread the love, affection, tenderness, understanding, sharing good things in the society. Just like spreading fragrance from flowers, we have to spread the good things for the world without having any racism, any divisions or anything. If you do good things, we may get international peace and understanding. So very nice, Venkatrao garu, for sharing good things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any other?
Very nice.
Sir, I think almost all they understood your keynote address. With your permission, may I go for presentation, sir?
Okay, please move,
Any
Amresh, sir.
other last chance? Any other? Dr. Sushila, madam? Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So with your permission, I'm going to present. Good evening to Professor Chennai sir, keynote speaker, my guru and collaborator, and the other noble participants. Quantitative research through experimental research design. The outline of the presentation, introduction, learning outcome, explore through experimental research design in quantitative research. As usual, before going to original presentation, I want to show you two extraordinary videos of Buddha and the Hangman and Buddha almost a person killed 999 people is waiting to kill one more. So Buddha tried to change him. He made one type of experiment based on our today's topic, experimental research design. Here, Buddha and the young man.
One day, a young man came to see the Buddha and asked him to explain his teachings, but in simple terms. And Buddha asked him, "Do you have a son?" And the young man answered, "Do your neighbors have a son?" "Yes, they do." "Do the persons not known to you personally have sons?" "Yes, they do, Lord." "Well then tell me, if your son dies, how sad will you be?" "Venerable Sir, I would feel incredibly sad. I would not be able to bear that news. I would feel that my entire world had collapsed. I cannot imagine whether I could make it through." "If your brother's son dies, how sad will you feel?" "Sir, I would feel devastated, but not to the extent if my own son dies." "If your neighbor's son dies, how sad will you feel?" "Lord, I would feel some sadness, but not to the extent if my brother's son dies." "If the son of a person not known to you personally dies, how sad will you feel?" "I would not feel any sadness." "Then, the extent of the sadness is relative to your what?" After thinking for a moment, the young man replied, "Sir, the level of sadness is relative to the extent to which I hold the sadness is me or mine." "Very well. When you took your son to the beach, did he not play with sandcastles?" "Yes, he did." "When the ocean waves broke the sandcastles, did your son cry?" "Yes, he did." "Did you cry too?" "I did not." "Why did you not cry?" "Sir, the child cries because he thinks the castle is pretty and permanent. Hence, he is attached to it. I knew the sandcastle is not permanent, so I did not cry when the waves broke it down." Now you understand, right? If you do not see the truth as it is, you will keep on going through this endless samsara. There is no difference between kids who cry when their sandcastles are swept by the waves and you. You see, in life, in your life, the Buddha taught about non-attachment because nothing in this world is permanent. If you attach yourself to something or someone, you also have to live with the consequences once the things or people leave you. This is the secret that Buddha knew. And thus, the only true way can be non-attachment. Everything else would be an illusion. What you make out of your illusion is merely up to you and the way you see your life and life in itself. This is Dare to Do Motivation Stories. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.
Right. When Buddha almost got killed, this is also a wonderful story.
Once upon a time, there was a man who was a mad murderer. He had taken a vow that he would kill 1,000 people. Because society had not treated him well, he had decided to take revenge on society by killing 1,000 men, and from every person killed, he would take one finger and make a rosary around his neck. Because of this, His name became Angulimal, the man with rosary of fingers. Everyone was afraid of Angulimal. Even kings, generals were afraid of him. Nobody would move in those parts wherever people came to know that Angulimal lived. It became very difficult for him to find one man to kill him and complete his vow. One day, Buddha was staying at village near that forest. The day he left from village, villagers said, "Don't go that way. There lived a mad murderer. He has already killed 999 people. He does not think twice before killing. He will not think that you are a Buddha. There is another way. You can take that path." Buddha said, "If I don't go, then who will go? He is waiting for one more, so I have to go. He needs me. I must take the risk. Either he will kill me or I will change him." Saying this, Buddha left. Disciples who had said that they would remain with Buddha till very end were scared, and as they moved toward forest, even disciples started to lag behind because of danger. When Buddha reached hill, he was all alone. Angulimal was sitting on a rock. He saw Buddha and thought, "This man seems to be absolutely unaware that I am here. Otherwise, nobody goes along this path." Buddha looked so innocent, so beautiful that even Angulimal felt compassion and thought, "It is not good to kill this man. I will leave him. I can find somebody else to complete my vow." But he was determined to complete his vow. Then he said to Buddha, "Go back. Stop right there. Don't step forward. I am Angulimal. I have killed 999 people and I just need one more finger. Even if my mother come, I will kill her to complete my vow. So don't come near to me. You may look like a monk, but I don't believe in any religion. I don't care if you are a great saint. All I care about is killing one more person. So don't step forward, otherwise I will kill you." Still Buddha continued moving. Angulimal thought maybe this man is deaf or mad. So he shouted again, "Stop, don't move another step." Then Buddha said, "I have stopped long ago. I am not moving." "Angulimal, you are moving. All my movement has stopped because all motivation has stopped. When there is no motivation, how can movement happen? There is no goal for me. I have achieved the goal, so why should I move? You are moving, and I say to you, you stop." Angulimal was still sitting on the rock. He started laughing and said, "You are really mad. I am sitting, and you say to me that I am moving. You are moving, and still you say that you are stopped." Buddha came near and said, "I have heard that you need one more finger. As far as this body is concerned, my goal is achieved. This body is useless. When I die, people will burn it. It will be of no use to anyone. You can use it. Your vow can be fulfilled. Cut off my finger and cut off my head. I have come on purpose because this is the last chance for my body to be used in some way. Otherwise, people will burn it." Angulimal said, "What are you saying? I thought that I was the only mad around here. You don't try to be clever because I am very dangerous. I can kill you." Buddha said, "Before you kill me, do one thing. Just a wish of a dying man. Cut off a branch of this tree." Angulimal hit his sword against the tree and the big branch fell down. Buddha said, "Just one more thing. Now join it again to the tree." Angulimal said, "Now I know perfectly that you are mad. I can cut, but I cannot join." Buddha started laughing and said, "When you can only destroy and cannot create, then you have no right to destroy it, because destruction can be even done by children. There is no bravery in it. This branch can be cut by a child, but to join it, a master is needed. And if you cannot join back a branch to the tree, then how can you cut off human heads? Have you ever thought about it?" Angulimal closed his eyes and fell down at Buddha's feet and said, I have never thought like that. You are right. If I cannot create, I have no right to destroy. But I don't know. What should I do then? You please lead me on that path. And it is said that in a single moment, Angulimal was completely changed. His destructive nature changed into creative. He changed from a murderer to a monk. It was said that wherever Buddha was teaching, for up to 20 miles, all around that place, there never used to be violence, and things used to be very calm and very peaceful. Peace generates from deep within. It generates from the being to the mind, and from the mind to the environment. This is Words of Wisdom Stories. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.
Very nice stories. Really enjoyed. We can learn many things. That's why always peace, non-violence, love, love, love. Right. Experimental research design. Under this, already we did on pre-experimental research. Now the true experimental. Next week quasi-experimental. Under this pre-experimental, we have actually the post-test control group only, pre-test, post-test control group, and Solomon 4 groups. One by one. The experimental design, the symbols, already we mentioned the same thing the previous programs, but for newly joined participants, the symbol O for a formal observation or measurement. X for here exposure to the experimental treatment, X for treatment, and EZ is experimental group. Trust here test unit exposed to a treatment, and C for control, G for group, control group, CG test unit not exposed to a treatment, or random assignment. What is random assignment? I'm going to show you a nice picture, then you can understand. Of test unit to the EZ means experimental group, and the control group. M is assignment to a EZ or CG or balance to assure that EZ and CG means experimental group and control group are roughly equal. This is almost every group supposed to be also. True experimental research, what is it? Is often considered the most accurate research when compared with the pre-experimental research design and the quasi-experimental research design. A researcher has complete control over the process, which helps reduce any error in the result. See here what Buddha done. People are not in a position to go and face Angulimala to change him or to change his attitude, way of path, but because of their maybe a fear or love towards their life, something. But already the purpose of life achieved by Lord Buddha, he doesn't want anything, neither life or nor ornament or anything. So that's why simply he approached and he tried to change Angulimala. Then he became a disciple of Lord Buddha, so murderer to a saint and Rishi. This also increases the confidence level of research outcome to reduce actually in general the experimental research or type 1 error, type 2 error in research. We know what is a true experimental research design or true experimental design. There is a statistical approach. This is an approach to establishing a cause and effect relationship between different variables. The condition is that we need at least one dependent variable and one independent variable. Suppose again I'm taking an example of my PhD topic, attitude of intermediate students towards moral values in relation with certain psychosociological variables. Here I studied on moral values. That's the moral value attitude of intermediate students towards moral values is a dependent variable. It is dependent on the independent variables for HSPQ, high school personality factors, self-concept, study habits, socio-demographic variables, I have 55 independent variable and one dependent variable. So here, this is one of the most accurate form of research design, which provides substantial backing to support the existence of relationship. Almost every program after completion, habit to read the feedback of the participants. Some of time the participants are putting just a full stop or no, such type of things instead of giving their opinion. Here, what I want to say, the true experimental research design, not only in the professional life, in our personal life also, those participants are every time we can see maximum participants are repeatedly again and again coming. Means here our intervention, they are getting something new from every program. Professor Chennai sir, you can observe every program sir is coming with the new things, innovative things from around the globe, not only within India, outside India also. In the same way, those participants joining our program, those who are not joining, if you have maybe interaction, if as a collaborator, as an organizer, if I interact, I can understand. So some people maybe after attending 5 programs, so this is enough for this semester, no need. So this is actually a not right thing. Here Suresh Chandra Mishra sir just rightly texted, sir is in keep in touch, even though there is no network, sir is sending messages and watching through YouTube and sending through WhatsApp to me. So this is happened, this is, so it shows their interest. Actually, we also don't have any problem to share feedback form or link. Here, our intervention is what is our interest. So here, the learning is something is taking place. This is our intervention. That's why the program, every time we have new participants and old participants. Some of them come and go, that is different. Here 3 types of groups we can take in the same way. What is the meaning of true experiment? Here the term true experiment is sometimes used to refer any randomized experiment. Whenever we are asking the participant to pose a question to the resource person, keynote speaker, Professor Chennai sir, or myself or someone, we are not selecting by ourselves. After giving the overall opportunity or equal freedom to all, chance to all, then if there is no response, then only I'm asking by name wise. Here, randomized experiment. In other instance, the term true experiment is used to describe all studies with at least one independent variable. That's already I mentioned. There is an independent and one is experimentally manipulated with at least one dependent or outcome variables. What are the characteristics of true experiment? This is very important. Manipulation, control, random assignment, and random selection. These are 4 are very essential. This is about random sampling. In general, in research, we have a quantitative, the next after the 49th international workshop, 50th. What type of sampling techniques we can use in the quantitative research methods? Probability sampling techniques, non-probability sampling methods or techniques. Probability, suppose a head and coin, if you head and tail, equal chances for 50% for head and 50% for tail. The same way, every member in a group, suppose a class is a group, whole school, maybe a population of the school, for all the students. The same way here, this is a population. When you are selecting, if you see what is happening, actually there are 3 here, green in color and 4 in blue color. If you see here, more in blue and the green is less, and they proportionately we are selected. In the same way here, random assignment, control group and treatment group. Here control group ought to be done the 3 green, so here for treatment 2 and here 1, for 5 blue, at 3 in control group and 2 in treatment group. So almost instead of here, it may be a 4 is 100% equal same, but it is majority blue, 5 and 3. So in that case is how we can, is almost, not exactly 100%, is almost. So what is the purpose of this random? If you see this slide, random assignment, no random assignment. Here random sampling and no random sampling. When you are taking random sampling, what you can do, conclusions generalize to whole population. That's why in general, this one we are quantitative research. For qualitative research, we are not taking more population, less in number. For creation of a theory or concept, we are going for qualitative method. To for generalize, suppose attitudes. Why nano car? Maximum people are ready to purchase because of their economic position. That is the we actually Manasa Putrika we are calling Ratan Tata ji, but it was Siliguri or in West Bengal moved to again Gujarat. So there is a big story behind it. The main intention of nano car is to reach the maximum people. Here no random sampling, conclusion not generalized to, because it is not, suppose in any class we have average students, above average students, below average students, special students, gifted students. It is our duty to select all types of students, then we can get the opinion of the class. If you have selected only a particular student, those students from rural or urban or male or female, so that is not. So what is a random assignment? Here casual inference generalized to the whole population. No random, no casual inference. Here casual inference only for the sample. Here causation. If it is not no random assignment or correlation. When to do correlation, this type of, otherwise we can maybe at a t-test we are doing in general to see the effect, right? There are 3 criteria that need to be met in order to carry out this type of research. The existence of control group. What is the control group? Actually, we have the control group and experimental group. In general, the control group never undergo any intervention, is always stable. So the sample of participants is subdivided into 2 groups, one that is subject to the experiment and so undergo changes, and the other that does not. What that does not, that is a control group. The presence of an independent variable. Actually, it is an independent variable is whenever dependent and independent. Dependent variable is depended on some, that's why it is a dependent variable. It is independent, that influence the working of other variable must be there for the researcher to control and observe changes. Actually, suppose we can take in the among the participants we have male and female. Male and female is an independent variable, and their achievement maybe you can take as a dependent variable. So here random assignment, participants must be randomly distributed within the groups. So here the equal chances for all any of the subject. What is an example I can give you? A study to observe the effects of physical exercise. A strong mind, a sound mind in a sound body. So mental health and physical health. For mental health, yoga, meditation, asanas. For physical health, yogasanas and some exercises. Here productivity levels can be conducted using a true experimental research design. The sample population are subjects are 300 people volunteers for a study involving office workers in their 20s. These 300 participants are randomly distributed into 3 groups. You can make minimum 2 groups, one control group, one experimental group. You can make more than one experimental group also. The first group, a control group, does not participate in exercising and has to carry on with their everyday schedule. Suppose 300 participants, 100, 100, 100. If you take 100, no need to put any condition, they can do, or if they don't do also nothing. So the second group asked to indulge in home workouts for 30 to 45 minutes every day for 1 month. So 1 day rest is also they are giving at least 6 days in a week. 30 to 45 minutes is according to the physical fitness trainers, at least once in a week, 1 day rest is important. Don't do 7 days. The third group has to work out 2 hours every day for a month. Here 30 to 45 minutes. All maybe no two bodies are exactly same or identical. It is not good. Whether you believe or not, minimum I can walk 6 kilometers to 8 kilometers whenever I was at NEHU campus, but in outside it is different. But in minimum 6 kilometers and maximum 8 kilometers I can walk. Smartwatch also measuring the same distance. Here, some people there is no need to walk. If suppose those who have two-wheeler or four-wheeler or maybe using bus, public bus, private bus, it is not possible based on their convenient. So 30 to 45 minutes, we can ask some people, is it okay for them? So we can make and giving equal chance for all of under 2 hours every day for a month. In this research, the level of physical exercise acts as an independent variable. The performance at the workplace. That's why. Suppose take the same example, achievement of the students and hard work, study hours. Those students are maybe studying at their own without any condition, one group. Those students are studying every day 30 to 45 minutes. Those students are studying every day 2 hours. So if you take those students in general, those who are studying every day regularly, more hours, there may be a chance for more achievement, great achievement in general. Maybe sometimes other factors are also there, their previous knowledge and past experiences and the type of questions maybe, but maximum in general, those who are doing good hard work, they will get good marks. And performance workplace is a dependent variable that varies with a change in. So what we can do, this type of, maybe we can do 1 month, then we can measure what is their fitness, BMI, body mass index. After, if there is any change, you can increase one group or decrease in another group. Of physical exercises and their performance. Actually, those who are doing good meditation or yoga or exercise and doing physical exercises and going for job, they are doing, their performance is better than others. It is actually their research findings. What are the advantages of true experimental research design? Here, concrete method of research. The statistical nature of experimental research design makes it highly credible and accurate because we are getting with a statistical score or with evidence or with proof. The data collected from the research is subjected to statistical tools. In general, here we take a mean of the group. T is equal to critical value, we can call modulus, difference between and our ratio of the difference between means and standard error of mean. That is, T is equal to modulus M1 minus M2 by standard error of mean, SEM we are calling. The statistical nature of experimental research here, this makes the results easy to understand. Because that's why qualitative always we are making into, even in smartwatch you can see your heartbeat. We are not counting and your BP 120 by 80 or whatever we have, always making everything into a quantity to understand, objective and actionable. This makes it better alternative to observation based studies that are subjective and difficult to make inferences. Suppose certain things very deep. Suppose for happiness, according to Professor Chennai sir and the maximum philosophers, Dr. Sotosini madam also, happiness is a way of life, a state of mind. Whether, see, Lord Buddha, no fear by seeing Angulimala also no fear, but other peoples are not in a position to come. So here Sthita Prajna, we are calling situational intelligence. Qualitative is not possible always to understand through observation method in general we do, but quantifying is very important. Easy to understand and replicate. Then the research provides hard figures or concrete figure and a precise representation of the entire process. The result presented become easily comprehensive for any stakeholders. That's why what is your stress level? Stress also they're giving a bar, even ECG. So through bar diagram, very nicely where is a peak or low, up, down, everything. Further, it becomes easier for future researcher conducting studies around the same subject to get a grasp of prior takes the same and replicate its result to supplement their own research. That's why the main purpose of review of literature for this, suppose I'm doing a research on professional development and through our research scholar and I'm going to, already I got Routledge one invitation to write a book on professional development of teachers in higher education, approaches, issues and challenges. Here the professional development, best example why I'm very interested to do on this topic. Last 1.5 years, almost we started through program Dr. Srutasini Gogoi Madam Blended Learning Approach, the first program, even first webinar also, Indo-Thai program in August 2020, we organized the first online program. That day onwards, we are doing every day nowadays, once in a 3 days, we are organizing program, monthly 10 programs. It means continuously doing. It enhances our knowledge, capabilities, competencies, and positive attitude. So this is the best example, not only organizing, even delivering at HRTCs, writing articles, publishing books, and doing many other professional activities. But in general, we tune to our mind, participating 1 or 2 programs per month is enough. No, learning is not like that. Every moment, small. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 only. Whenever you are adding, we are always plus in the same way. Development is not easy and simple. It is always a continuous process, better to do wherever, not only attending our own program, you can attend any other programs, you can write, you can listen, you can do. Even I'm learning many things from my nephew and niece, where I am staying right now, establishes comparison. The presence of control group in true experimental research allows researcher to compare and contrast. Here, that's why the mean of the control group, mean of the experimental group, the degree to which a methodology is applied to a group can be studied with respect to the end result as a frame of reference. Suppose integration of ICT. Whatever we are doing, this is learned by self-learning only, self-learning, nowhere trained. Still, I remember the day the first program with the Karnataka State University and NEHU, we organized one program on NEP. After immediately second program with the SCTE, Kohima and MORAN College, Dibrugarh, MORAN College under Dibrugarh University, Swatasini Madam and myself. So the second program, I became almost, I know how to mute the participant. The first, I really faced a problem. Some of participants unmuted by themselves. I'm not never tried. I attended program through Cisco Webex, but I never organized. So after that, now I'm very nicely I can manage. After whenever we are requesting the participant to interact, participant, then only I am allowing the participant to unmute themselves. Now the participants are unable to unmute until unless the admin host supposed to allow. Here I am familiarized doing. Within 1 day also I can prepare a flyer with the help of Dr. Swatasini Madam and Professor Chinnaya sir. We can organize. If you give just 1 day time enough, we are ready for with the preparation, certificate, everything. This is because of continuous effort. Here, that's why we can compare our, sometimes have a habit to watch our own videos in YouTube. So 1 year back where I delivered lecture, now I can really, how I delivered in that way. Now the words are coming without any effort. Effortless words I can deliver and I can correlate because of doing and listening. Professor Chennai's our keynote address and attending programs and delivering lectures at HRDCs. So it became very casual. But to reach this level, it is not that much easy, but it is not impossible. What we can conclude from above slides, the research combines observation and statistical analysis to generate informed conclusions. This direct the flow of follow-up actions in a definite direction, thus making the research process fruitful. So here we have a little break. Pomodoro technique already we organized on this POMODORO Pomodoro tomato. Again, I'm going to show you a nice video on a true experimental research design. Then there are 3 types of research here. Okay, before going that on, and some disadvantages are also there. Here, what are the disadvantages? Here, actually, to do this true experimental research design is not as simple, it is expensive. This research is costly. It takes a lot of investment in recruiting and managing a large number of participants, which is necessary for the sample to be representative. The high here resource investment makes it highly important for the researcher to plan each aspects of the process to its here minute details. That's why in general the people are not ready to go for to do true experimental research, design based research. Too idealistic. The research takes place in a completely controlled environment. There is no such type of freedom. Such a scenario is not representative. Best example, even that's why Dr. Sushila madam is here. Being a doctor, ma'am knows whenever a patient admitted in the hospital, in intensive care or under the doctor observation, they almost nothing to do by himself or herself. Whatever the guidelines given by the doctor or nurse, they're supposed to follow. Then only they can see the treatment or what are the interventions, the impact of the tablets or injection. This is one of the main reasons why open field research is preferred over lab research, wherein the study can be influenced by the researcher. So time consuming, it is taking much time. The process of setting up the conducting a true experiment is highly time consuming. I have sometimes some teachers and science background, we are working in different committees. Whenever I have, still I remember Sri Venkateswara University, I did a dissertation on PhD research scholars. After doing a dissertation on PhD research scholars, I got a very good confidence to do PhD. Immediately I enrolled in 2016 to 19. So I got extraordinary feedback from the chemistry and the physics, botany, zoology, and other, even psychology, but they go very rarely on experimental research. But other laboratory research, the chemicals, they take days and days of time also for to get final results. That's why they need patients and students. Research scholars for science, they maybe reach a hostel during midtime. Really, I surprised at this by seeing all the people are now working in South Korea and other countries. They are still in contact. This is because the process like recruiting a large enough sample, gathering respondent data, random distribution into groups, monitoring process over a span of time, tracking changes and making adjustment. Even ethics committee in the university or colleges also we have, it is our duty to take permission whenever you are going to do research on human being. The amount of processes here Actually, whenever I accept, it will appear in differently. Okay. The amount of processes, although I'm going to share the PPT in my blog, you can go download it. Essential to entire model is not a feasible option to go for, and the results are required in the near future. Sometimes maybe based on the weather environment, sometimes it is changing. That's why the pressure cooker in the hill areas, they need more number of whistles time to cook a dal when compared with the plain India or plain area. The amount of processes also essential to entire model is not yet feasible already. Now that we have learned about the advantages and disadvantages, before going to three research designs within this true experimental research design, just watch this extraordinary video. Really, I like this YouTube channel of the regarding experimental, true experimental, quasi-experimental research design, this GM lecture series.
Good day, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about quantitative research, particularly the different experimental research designs. But first, let's have a short review of what quantitative research is. Quantitative research is a systematic process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting quantitative or numeric data for the purpose of obtaining answers to certain questions or phenomena. In other words, quantitative research involves the process of testing a theory, recognizes the role of variables in a study, involves numbers or numeric data, and lastly, uses statistical treatments for data measurement and analysis. Now at this point, we're going to answer the question, what are the types of quantitative research designs? It is worth noting that quantitative research is divided into two major types, namely experimental research designs and descriptive non-experimental. Under experimental research designs, we have the true experimental, quasi-experimental, and pre-experimental. On the other hand, descriptive non-experimental is further divided according to purpose, under which we have survey and correlational research, and according to time dimension. Some examples are cross-sectional research and longitudinal research. Now, while there are a lot of different quantitative research designs, for this particular video, we are going to focus on the different experimental research designs. Now, at this point, we're going to talk about the major characteristics of experimental research designs. First, experimental research recognizes that the intervention of the researcher is present. This means that in experimental research, the researcher plays an active role throughout the conduct of the research process. When we say that the researcher plays an active role, this means that the researcher decides what intervention is given to the subjects. Also, the researcher is the one who determines who will be receiving the treatment and, of course, the extent of the conduct of the research. In connection with the first characteristic, another major characteristic of experimental research is that it involves the researcher's manipulation of independent variables. This means that unlike non-experimental research, the variables in experimental research are controlled by the researchers. When we say that variables are controlled by the researchers, this means that the researcher may opt to control certain variables and manipulate others for purposes of determining alternative results. At this point, we're going to talk about the different types of experimental research designs, starting with the true experimental research. The true experimental research aims to determine causal relationships among variables. Also, it is considered as the most accurate type of experimental research design. Furthermore, the true experimental research design relies on statistical analysis to approve or disprove a hypothesis. It may be conducted with or without a pretest, involves a control group and a test group, and of course, involves random selection of participants. With regard to the different types of true experimental research designs, it may be classified as post-test only control group, pre-test post-test control group, or Solomon 4-group design. Now, before we continue, let's address some of the questions that you might have. First, what is the difference between a control group and an experimental or test group? In a true experimental research, the experimental or test group is made of subjects that receive the treatment or intervention given by the researcher. On the other hand, the control group is made of subjects that do not undergo or receive any treatment or intervention. Next, why is there a need to have a control group and an experimental group? Having a control group and an experimental group allows researchers to determine the effects of the treatment or intervention by making comparisons between the results from the experimental group and the control group after the duration of the study. First, let's talk about the post-test-only control group. In a post-test-only control group, the subjects are randomly selected and assigned to groups. Then, the treatment or intervention is given to the experimental group. Afterwards, both groups are tested and conclusions are drawn from the comparisons of the results. With this in mind, let's consider this example wherein the study is conducted to test the effects of technology integration on the academic performance of students. As mentioned earlier, in an experimental research design, it would involve at least two groups. One group would be the control group, and the other one would be the test or experimental group. The control group would be the one that will have no intervention, which means there is no technology integration, which means everything is held regular or constant throughout the classes. While in the test or experimental group, it would have the intervention, which means there would be the technology integration in the lessons conducted. Furthermore, since this is an example of an experimental research design, it would involve variable manipulation, such as the type of technology used and the frequency of the technology used. After a certain duration of time, the results from the control group that has no technology integration and the test group or experimental group that has technology integration in lessons would then be assessed. From there, the grades between the control group and the experimental group will be compared. From this particular example, we could have the conclusion that the integration of technology in conducting lessons has a positive effect on the academic performance of the students. Next, we talk about the pre-test, post-test control group design. In a pre-test, post-test control group design, the subjects are also randomly selected and assigned to groups. Both the groups are then tested prior to the intervention and treatment. Afterwards, the intervention or treatment is then given to the experimental group. Both the groups are then tested after the treatment to determine the degree of changes in each group. For this particular type, let's consider this example of a study that is conducted to determine the effect of role-playing as a teaching strategy to the students' reading comprehension. Now, similar to the post-test control group design, we're going to have two groups. One group would be a control group, and the other one would be a test group or an experimental group. However, unlike the post-test control group design, wherein both the control group and the test or experimental group is tested after the intervention has been given, in this particular case, both the control group and test or experimental group will undergo a pre-test. Afterwards, the same process will be applied, wherein the control group will receive no intervention, meaning they will receive the regular teaching strategy or activity, while the test or experimental group will undergo the intervention. In this case, it's going to be the role-playing as a class activity. After which, both groups will have a post-test from which the results will be obtained. From there, the researcher will then address the following questions. First, is there a difference between the pre-test and post-test scores? Next, how are the post-test scores of the test group different from the control group? From there, based on the results gathered, the researcher will then be able to come up with the needed conclusions and recommendations. And lastly, we have the Solomon 4 group design. The Solomon 4 group design is considered as a combination of the first two true experimental designs mentioned earlier. Similar to the two designs mentioned, subjects are also randomly selected. However, for this particular design, the subjects are assigned into 4 groups. It is worth noting that the Solomon 4 group design is conducted to verify the effectiveness of a given treatment or intervention. With this in mind, let's consider this example wherein the study is conducted to determine the effects of an intensive review program on the students' mathematics grades. As mentioned earlier, the subjects are selected randomly. However, there would be 4 groups for this particular design. Now, much like the designs discussed earlier, both experimental group A and experimental group B will receive the treatment. In this case, it is the intensive review program, while control group A and control group B will receive the regular teaching strategy, or they will receive no intervention at all. The only difference is that experimental group A and control group A will have the pretest. From there, both experimental group A and experimental group B will have the intensive review program as part of the intervention, while control group A and control group B will have the regular discussions as part of the regular studies. From there, after the discussion or after the intervention, all groups will undergo a post-test in order to obtain the needed results. Before we continue, let's answer this question. What is the purpose of conducting a Solomon 4 group design? A Solomon 4 group design is conducted for purposes of verifying the authenticity of the results of an intervention. It is worth noting that pre-testing tends to have some form of influence on the results of the post-test due to the subject's exposure to the said instrument. This is because the pre-test and post-test use the same instrument, technically speaking. The same instrument that you use for the pre-test would be the same instrument that you would use for the post-test in order to determine if there would be changes in the results of the scores. As such, there are certain instances wherein some respondents or some subjects tend to simply remember the answers that they have given from the pre-test. Conducting a Solomon 4 group design allows a researcher to counter this threat to internal validity when making the assessment. In a nutshell, true experimental research is one of the types of experimental research designs. It is recognized by having the following characteristics. First, it is used to test a hypothesis. Second, it involves random selection of participants. Next, it requires having a control group and a test group. Furthermore, it may or may not have a pre-test. It is also worth noting that the true experimental research design is considered as the most accurate type of experimental research. Furthermore, true experimental research is divided into 3 types. First is the post-test only control group. This involves testing the control group and test group after the intervention has been given. Next would be the pre-test, post-test control group, wherein it tests the control group and the test group before and after the intervention has been given. And the last type is the Solomon 4 group design. This is a combination of the first 2 designs, wherein the respondents are divided into 4 groups. It is also worth noting that the Solomon 4 group design is conducted in order to counter possible threats to internal validity and verify the results of the intervention that has been given.
Very nice, actually, very nicely explained. Myself also, before 2 weeks itself, I got a Solomon 4 group control group research design. Before, even though I learned so many things, but I never studied about it. Because of the presentation I learned, what are the 3 types of true already post-test only? Post means always after. Pre means before. Prepaid, postpaid. Your SIM, your mobile also. Pre-test and post-test. Solomon 4 group. Here, this gives important how here only post-test, not pre-test. Before intervention, there is no need of any intervention. Only the intervention and post-test after they're taking. Those group are experimental group. They undergo intervention. The control group without intervention. So O1 minus O2 is whatever the intervention effect. The second one is a pre-test and post-test. Here 2 groups. One group the same like earlier post-test, but there is no pre-test. But here pre-test is there. Again intervention. Only post-test for both also, but intervention for only experimental group, control group, there is no intervention. Here in general, without intervention, maybe a control group, very little changes, but here in experimental group with intervention, a huge changes. That's why O2, ON minus, O4, O3. The Solomon formula here 4 groups: control group 1, control group 2, experimental group 1, experimental group 2. Here experimental group 1 and the control group 1 is actually we have the pre-test and the intervention for only experimental group, post-test for all the 4 groups. Now we can see why there may be a chance sometimes, maybe a trial and error method. So to avoid this type of errors, to improve the consistency, internal validity, the Solomon 4-group method is, but only the allocation of the subjects to the groups, it should be randomized, equal chances for all the subjects. So next week, we are going to do on quasi-experimental research and design. What are the differences between true experimental and quasi-experimental? Here, true experimental, the present today's topic, assignment to treatment. Here, the researcher randomly assigns, but in quasi-experimental, no random, non-random method or no randomly assignment. Control over treatment. Here, the researcher usually design the treatment. Suppose ICT integration or reading comprehension, whatever, though it will come under. Suppose you can provide now 2 HOTS in South India. Those who students, EE school, techno schools, we have AC schools with AC also. Those students who have ICT with AC and everything, what is their performance? Those students who don't have, what is their performance? Is the normal general. So is there any difference? That is because of not the internal of individual thing, is because of intervention. We are assuming like that, but is there any, the treatment or groups are randomly assigned? When you are taking the different types of colleges, then there may be a lot of changes. Use of control groups here require the use of control and treatment groups. This allocation of group or group members or subjects is a very essential or important. Control groups are not required, although they are commonly used. Quasi-experimental, the researcher often does not have control over the treatment, but instead studies pre-existing groups that received a different treatment after the fact. This is quasi-experiment. These are all those who newly joined. Participants' purpose, myself and Dr. Sutosini Gugoi madams or models. This one actually we published also. The 5Ls, these 2 we invented, but we are going to publish 5Ls model like love, learn, live. And so this is about true experimental research design. Now over to Professor Chennai, sir. Chennai, sir.
Amresh, sir.
Sir.
So you have presented very nicely, very good, comfortable. So you have showed very nicely the films. They are very interesting. So congratulations for your nice expression. So you are introducing very nice things for people, the Buddha's lessons, the small films. They are very useful for things. So congratulations, Amresh sir. So here we are going in the research and search with the integrated manner. So we represented entire world, and last week we presented one talk on Hugo Chavez. He is a African philosopher and former president of Venezuela. Today we shared about the great 16th President of America, Abraham Lincoln. He has given great help and freedom for avoiding slavery. He said many things. He protected democracy. So here in our presentation, we have showed the Anguli Marika. So many important anecdotes you are presenting. They are very nice. They are good for great understanding. If you show very clearly about various types of good things, then we may live very comfortable manner. So here we are giving very nice and integrated things for all-round development of the life and a balanced way of living. Very good. So your presentation is excellent and nice expressions. We are following nicely. So introducing. So we have given. Now, how many conferences we have organized? It may be a 210 or something, Amresh sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is 210th program, sir.
Yes. So with uninterrupted manner. So congratulations for your willpower, and you have prepared flyers, and with a constant willpower you are doing. Once again, congratulations. So we have tell about Indian philosophy. So we introduced great things from the Greece, Alexander, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Pythagoras. So, so in the British philosophy, we have Bertrand Russell, George Bernard Shaw, Winston Churchill. So in the America, we have Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln. So here John Dewey, William James. So in the Russia, we have shared about Leo Tolstoy, George Gurdjieff. So in the China, so you are Lao Tzu and the Confucius. So in Japan, we have given Kierkegaard. So here in the Africa, Nelson Mandela. So here many people throughout the country we shared, we introduced great thoughts of the world to the people. So really it is an international webinar. We represented entire humanity. So we have no caste, religion, cult, nationality or anything. We think entire world is a one family, and we want world integration, world peace, world understanding. We have to live here in the world with a coexistence, with love and affection. So really you have done very nicely to achieve this goal. Once again, congratulations, Amresh sir, and we may continue these types of programs for world integration. So here we are not doing anything with a self-centered manner. We are getting any money, any funds from any source with yourself and myself and some other people. With the help of our participants, we are doing good things in this connection and the success of our 210 programs. Once again, congratulating. So I feel very happy. You have done very nicely. I concluded this speech, Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your motivational and encouragement speech, sir. Without your support, it is impossible. Myself and Dr. Srutasuni madam, 100% depended on you only, sir. In general, it is very difficult to get a resource person to deliver n number of topics. That is also within a week, 2-3 keynote addresses means it is not an easy task. I think it is only possible for you in India, sir. It is not possible for anyone. Professor Venkatrao sir is also here. So sir knows very well under your leadership only sir became professor interview. So Venkatrao sir. Sir, it is possible for only Chennai sir to deliver this type of lectures.
Yes, sir. He is a dedicated academician in India.
Yes, sir. It is not possible delivering 100 plus keynote addresses.
Chennai, sir. Only few people are there in India, like Chennai, sir. He is only dedicated to the academic.
True, sir. True, 100%.
with many.
Thank you, Venkatrao. Nice words. Huh? Very nice. So,
No, sir, this is not praising, sir. This is a truth,
we
sir.
are very lucky persons, sir. At this present scenario, you are available to us for delivering multidimensional.
Yes, yes. So here also in the future also in the coming days also we will introduce the great philosophers of the different continents, different countries. We don't know some names also. We will introduce very new type of new names, new philosophies, because we want to integrate the world. We want to share the world philosophies for inspiration and excitement. Thank you, Venkatrao garu. So I am sharing.
Really here,
Congratulations,
Magdalena madam,
sir.
she is from West Bengal, a school teacher. School teachers are also regularly joining, sir. Not only research scholars and university teachers, college teachers, even school teachers also. Ma'am is our regular participant from West Bengal.
So here, please share, Venkatrao garu, please.
Sir, this group will be the more interesting people are participated regularly. We need to introduce a philosophical counseling.
Yes.
Now the society is facing a very two different type of problems.
Yes,
so the
yes.
philosophical counseling is essence. Most of them are came from the education field, because we need to introduce the philosophical counseling techniques and all these things in the coming future.
Yes, because Venkatrao garu, here I will tell you. So we have a ocean of things here. So here we are expecting only questions from others. So if they want any psychological problems or health problems or life problems, so we expect questions. If they want something from us, we are ready to give answers and suggestions in every program. But we are expecting questions from audience, and we welcome your suggestion. We will follow in the every program. We are introducing a philosophy. So here you see, for example, Abraham Lincoln, he said, if you want to more peace in our life, don't have any popularity. Don't postpone anything for tomorrow. So protection of human right is the most important for happy life. So having cooperation with the coexistence with the human beings are most important. So we are introducing many great things. So without having any philosophical contents, we are not talking. We are searching. So we are talking about the philosophies and great things. So every program we are introducing a new concepts, new ideas, new things. So every life should be very fresh. So we welcome your suggestion. We will follow your suggestion. We welcome questions. We will give sufficient information to you.
You are an emeritus philosopher in South India, no doubt at all. Yeah, you are able to answer any kind of question from question belongs to any area, but the answer is from philosophy.
Yes, because philosophy is the mother of all sciences, and it has everything. So in the every branch, if you do PhD in the law, philosophy, doctor of philosophy in law, in biochemistry, in space science, so it has a 360 degrees angles. So it is a mother of all sciences. So if a person have an integrated outlook, he may present. So so we have completed 210 conferences in this connection. Once again, I am congratulating Dr. Amareshwar, Venkatrao garu, Hema garu, Srinivas Reddy garu. So all the participants and Venkata Subramanya, many great people. I am calling all people in the name because I remember all people's names. So in this connection, I am appreciating for your participation, and I am appreciating the willpower of the Dr. Amareshwar. I concluded the speech, Amareshwar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, vote of thanks, then national anthem and feedback. Thank you very much for your continuous support, sir. We are really grateful to you from bottom of our heart, myself and Dr. Sutosini Gogoi madam, for your continuous support for us. Professor Prabhasankar Shukla sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor NEHU, Professor Raja Reddy sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Venkateswara University, Dr. Nagarajasri Madam, Dr. Vijay Bhaskar sir for uploading our flyers at Sri Venkateswara University website, Professor Mithali Kova ma'am, Dr. Rajendra Prasad Batuko sir, Dr. Srutasini Gogoi madam from Moran College, Professor Mipun sir, ISTD, Professor Dikshit sir, IQAC NEHU, and the noble participants, Professor Venkatrao sir and others, senior teachers. Being a professor, but sir is really a great teacher and a nice teacher, attending our programs and encouraging us to do some more. Thank you very much, sir. With this, I am grateful to all our participants. Our national anthem immediately. Tomorrow program is very, very good. Lagom, 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 the Swedish well-being and happy living, long living. Very nice topic. Please join tomorrow at 5 p.m. You will get. We are going to do some more new things. Already we prepared flyers, already shared in our Telegram group and WhatsApp groups. You will get immediately. Now national anthem, immediately I will share the feedback form to get your certificate.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा
Amresh sir, sound Amresh sir.
तव शुभ नाम
Sound Amresh sir.
तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Jai Hind, thank you. Sir, I think it is because of your network issue, sir. Actually, it is audible, sir, for others. Venkatrao, sir, is it audible?
Yes, we listened, Amresh sir. You
Thank
have
you, sir.
adjusted
Thank you.
very nicely, and we followed. At the beginning, we didn't get sound, but after a few seconds, you have adjusted. We listened very carefully. Janagana Mana, congratulations, Amresh sir. Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just I shared the feedback link. Please submit.
Thank you, Amresh sir. Thank you.
Most welcome, sir. YouTube viewers, please submit the feedback form.